One. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Sharon Nyree Williams, and welcome to Shakin Shit Up, our voices, our messages. And this show, if you haven't attended a Shakin Shit Up before, this program is about artists presenting artists and their work, but having a conversation about it. And so we're going to go back and forth. We have asked the artists to just be truly real with us and sharing everything about what their truth. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. So I just want to welcome y'all. No matter where you are, let us know where you at in the chat. You can chat. We're on several different profiles tonight. So we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch in several areas. So we want to welcome all those audiences here. You can post comments. And hey, Kim, and we will read them as we go. You can post questions. You can post whatever you like in the respectful comments and what you like in the comment box and reactions and things of that nature. And we will read them out loud and share them with everyone. So thank you for taking the time to be with us. I just want to take a moment for everyone to just breathe and settle in. I don't want to act like we are ignoring what's happening in the world, because we are not. So I just wanted to take a moment to allow breath and space for that. And so we stand against social injustices, no matter what they are and who they are towards. Hey, Teresa, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. I miss you. So right now, let's get started. Tonight, we have with us AVIONA CREATRIX RODRIGUEZ BROWN. Welcome, AVIONA. I'll tell you a little bit about AVIONA. AVIONA CREATRIX instills inclusivity and accessibility by creating multidisciplinary art to tell stories surrounding being multiracial, exploring queerness, working through mental illness, stress, navigating drug addiction, and homelessness. Using tools and resources from SMART grants and the Artists Up Scholarship, the CREATRIX has developed healing workshops along with a 45-minute solo show translated into Spanish and toured to 4 states. Okay, Queen. Through ongoing community-oriented youth projects, they aspire to educate the masses on self-awareness and the benefits of art alternatives when dealing with everyday stresses. Welcome, Miss AVIONA.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for
being here. AVIONA, what are, outside of your bio, because we see all the fabulousness, what are 3 things that you want people to know about you?
One thing that people tend to forget is I'm Afro-Latina or Latinx, which for me is a mixture of 2. I come from an African-American, Black American side and a Mexican American side. And both these can't be ignored. And both these intertwine. And I can't be one without the other. They are me. That's the first thing. Wow, it's just one. Secondly, that I just want my community to thrive and succeed and be able to be. And one of the things that we as people of color are not allowed is the ability to be. We always have to check ourselves in regards to the white people in the room. Let's not scare the white people. Let's not, insult the white people. Let's make sure we keep ourselves in line so that we don't freak out the white people in the room. But at the end of the day, we get freaked out all the time. And so if you're allowed to be, why can't we be? Mm-hmm. And that's just completely human. That's across the board. Every race, every age, every color, every ethnicity, every culture. So I believe in being, and that's just who I am and how I present, and that's where my gender fluidity comes in, because today I happen to be wearing a dress. Tomorrow I might be wearing a 3-piece suit. But I hope that whoever encounters me by the blessings that I am, they are able to accept me for however I choose to present or however I happen to be in this world at that time.
Cool.
And lastly, I believe representation matters, and that drives a lot of my work, especially for being Afro-Latina. I didn't see another Afro-Latin person really acknowledging their both sides until 2017. So for 20 years, I was feeling as an outsider, never seeing myself in any media or never really feeling connected to anything. And so representation is always going to matter to me. It drives all the work that I do. I want the youth, because they're the most important to me also. I want the youth to be able to see themselves. And for those of us adults who have yet to see ourselves, I hope that you can open your eyes and see.
Thank you so much. You are so beautiful in every way, in your entire self. And thank you for bringing your whole self to the conversation. Next, we will, and you're going to be sharing some poetry with us, right?
Absolutely.
Fire, fire, fire alert. Next we have Black Stax. Felicia Loud and Jace E. Cage is in the building. What's up, fam?
What's up, family?
How
y'all
you
doing?
That's what's
All
up.
right, how you doing?
I'm doing
Shoot,
good.
jumped off the plane.
Yeah, I just got off the plane, right? Woo! I'm
Okay.
up. I'm awake. So for those of you who
Good.
don't know, I have been in North Carolina with my family for the last 2.5 weeks. What's up, Gee? My cousin out of Richmond has locked in. And I got back late last night and in time to do Shakin Shit Up today. So I took a few naps. And we ready to roll. So Black Stax sound is like Miles Davis, Etta James, and Langston Hughes adapted for savvy hip hop and neo soul listeners. By any standard, their music is not ordinary and nothing is dumbed down or gimmicky. It is smart music, every word carefully chosen, and every song carries a message of social justice and community upliftment. Fans appreciate their eclectic urban sound laced with jazz and 70s era soul, which provides life soundtrack to the sophisticated connoisseur, a collaboration that works. Black Stax successfully blends and bends the musical genres of blues, jazz, R&B, and hip hop. Oh, I just felt like I got MC mode.
That's so
What'd you
great.
say?
I feel like I got an MC mode in reading your bio. Like, I'm ready. Put me on the stage, son.
Yeah, that was an MC moment.
Yo, as a collaboration and as a group and as friends and family, what are 3 things that people should know about Black Stax?
Well, Aviana, nice to see you. Let me say that. Can she hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
But it's still nice. Good. It's great to be on a station with you, because I ain't seen you in a while, but we talk through text, so it's nice to add the smile. 3 things. What?
About Black Stax that people should know.
That the name is on purpose, right? Black Stax, that we stack all kinds of music. What you just mentioned, that we continue to do that. We continue to stay loyal to the heritage of our ancestors that came before, in music, in rituals, in teaching, in our parents, within the students that we are involved in terms of teaching children. That we stay Stax, and that we are always making sure that Black is at the top of our list. Nothing is less or underneath, but Black is at the top of our list. We are who we are. We say what we mean, and we mean what we say. We love doing this entertainment work, but we also love being able to share, a conscious mindset particularly now, for what it is that we have to stand for, you know, and it really, this is the time in which you have to stand for everything that comes out of your mouth, you know, and if you make a mistake, that's fine, but be able to, you know, comprehensively be able to talk about what you want to talk about and be strong enough to understand. Dr. Maya Angelou said, tell you who they are, believe them. Black Stax, believe that.
Cool.
That's one.
All right. What you got for us, Ace? What else should they know? They disappeared on me. Right? Oh man, they were getting good too. Well,
That was just one.
I know, right? There are two more to go. They had two more to go. Don't worry, Black Stacks will be back in a second. We want to say Teresa said, Aviana, thank you for your Afro Latinx perspective, voice, and representation. Gracias.
De nada.
We got Black Stacks back. Yeah. All right,
Yo,
Jay.
we're back, but we're not. Yeah, we're back, but I don't know if you can hear us. We're having some issues with staying tapped in. So hopefully everyone can hear this. We're also about the balance of Black.
Can you?
Yes.
We're also about the balance of the Black man and the Black woman, understanding how important that union is and why it matters. And we want to show the balance and the value of each in Black Stacks. Like, there's no one other. We work as a union, as a team, to show that we can do this as a team, not only, you know, through music, but through life. And what we do, like Felicia said, is purposeful. It's not an accident. We're not Black by accident. We don't stack by accident. And it's not a man and a woman by accident. We wanted to cover the basis of who we are, what we represent, and how we represent it, and show the strength of each of us in that, so that people can see that as they listen to the music and watch the journey.
Awesome. And I think people should know that y'all are worldwide. Y'all not just local. Y'all traveled in the last year to many different continents, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we went out to Europe. We were in Italy. We were in the UK. Went to Manchester, London, and Brighton. In Italy, we went to 8 different provinces. Got a chance to share our music. And the beautiful thing about the whole trip was it reminded me how important music is. And it's from 8 to 80. Like, people love good music. Like Felicia loves to say, it's vibrational to not just, hey, you look the part, but do you actually connect with those that are listening? You know, and also, like she said, right now, it's very important that artists understand that they play a powerful role in the narrative that's going to be spread across the world from this day forward. So, yeah, we
Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. But we're not going to let that stop us. We'll bring Black. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say, speaking on that Europe tour, man, I was so just listening to some of the radio spots that they had, you know, like, because radio's online now. For those of you who don't listen to radio online, you can tap into any radio station. So being able to hear them playing live in London was wild. Sorry. Those of you who don't know, I'm huge fans of Black Stax. And so I actually worked with Felicia 2 years ago now. She was performing in a show that I was stage managing, and I was technically her personal stage manager. Like, I fixed her hair up and I dyed her hair every night. And there was a dog that walked out on stage with her. So, like, I was standing side on the wing with the dog, things like that. So we were able to have a really nice, intimate connection before I knew she was this world-renowned rock star and this amazing Seattle Black Central District like staple in the hip hop history of Seattle. Her and Jace.
Yes, Jace.
And so these two are just amazing, and I hope that they connect back in because they've been around.
They're coming.
Seattle is in debt to them. If you don't know, Seattle,
you know what?
hip hop specifically.
You know what? When I was putting this show together, I didn't even remember that that you stage managed Lady Day. I totally spaced out on that, and so that's why this is dope.
Oh no, you're perfectly fine. And it's so funny when I seen that email because Felicia and we do text like every 2-3 weeks. Well, either she'll send me a text or I'll send her a text like, "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well. What's new?" And so for them to be here right now is really exciting.
You know what? We missed all that. Say it again.
I know. I was just boasting you, girl. I was just telling them how awesome you two are and how we
caught it. We caught it. Yeah, you know, the feeling is mutual. You know, Aviona continues to amaze me. So we want to get into this wonderful poetry that she's about to do, and it's music and Sharon, your hosting. You know, we want to get into that. But thank you so much. That is not gone. You know, in a way of dismissal. And you know that. So I just want to.
Your image is a little blurry.
Can you wipe your camera?
Wipe your camera off a little bit.
That's my phone.
Oh, you're on the phone. Okay, I need you to clean your phone.
No. You don't understand. You already know. Don't even start. You already know.
Dad, you can't see nothing.
I can't clean it. Can we continue? Worldwide.
Well, we're going to let them clean the phone, and we're going to let Aviona set us up and get us started with some of her poetry. Aviona, what you got for us right now?
Absolutely. This is called Burlesque Beginnings. Last year, I was due to do a burlesque show, which would have been my first time ever showing my body to somebody I was not in bed with or somebody who did not change one of my diapers. And so this is just about that reflection. Society tells me natural is not enough. The augmented pictures glorified by billboards and on every turned page of a magazine bombarded me with self-hate and the urge to starve, tuck, and try to fit into an unrealistic box never meant for me. I will not be made to feel inadequate. I will rise and shine in all my glory. The stretch marks across my belly remind me of the dips and turns of life. They are my glory. The wings tell that I am quick to get up and away if need be because toxins do not need to affect me. Toxins in my life are not welcome, but I can only say, well, come. I will be ready to fight to survive because I am just so thankful to be alive.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Black beauty. Go ahead.
Toxins are not welcome. Yeah.
Jason, Felicia, what y'all pull from that piece?
Well, you know, I just said it, you know, toxins in my life are not welcome, you know, and that as Aviona was talking about before, in terms of like what we say sometimes and pertaining to, you know, white folks and, you know, their comfortability. They've never been comfortable with our comfortability of being Black, beautiful, proud, strong, rich in religion, rich in culture, rich in self love, rich in not putting anybody in a place that boxes them in, but being rich in nature, being rich in humanity. And we always want to express that because we want to remind young people that that's their richness, because they can get downhearted about themselves because of what they witness on television. But that's what I got from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jace, what about you?
Oh, ditto that. You know, it was all about that. Like, you know, I think sometimes adding things can distract from from what was already spoken. And so sometimes I'll just be quiet because it's already spoken. It's not because I don't have nothing to say. I always got something to say. You know that, Sharon. But the reality is that Aviana said it beautifully and Felicia said it beautifully. So I just diddle that. I really do.
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
Aviana, and in creating that piece, what inspired it?
It's actually funny. I was having a real big hang up about getting naked on a stage. And even though this type of burlesque that we were doing is a storytelling burlesque, I actually had a whole, she comes out, she's in like this fishnet get up, and she's trying to figure out what to put on. But she goes through a whole section of is my hair going to be out? Is my hair going to be in a tight little bun? You know, am I going to braid my hair? Okay, great. I figured out my hair is going to be whatever. And then she goes on, well, am I going to wear conservative clothes? Am I going to dress the way people expect me to? Or am I going to be as risque and as cute as I want to be? So it's very much what I was sort of talking about in this. I represent how I am on a daily basis. And it's very much the feel of the day or whatever's weighing on me or however my spirit feels that day. And so that's what that piece was about. But I was so hung up on my body, I couldn't even get to the reality of the piece and the message I was trying to send. So I actually just stood in front of the mirror, put on my record button, my vocal memo. And, I just sort of spoke about the things that I was seeing in my body, and then I just transformed it into a piece.
Yeah,
that is
nice.
Awesome. That's awesome. I recently I sent an email out to Team Sharon, and it was about showing up as your whole self and feeling like I couldn't do that, right? Like I had to be Sharon, the arts administrator. I had to be Sharon, the artist, but I couldn't be Sharon, the arts administrator, and the artist in the same space at the same time. And so I've been working through this pandemic to really be able to just show up that way. And so I really thank you. And Jade said, yes, girl, I love it. And Charles Reed said, yes, indeed, toxicity is definitely not welcome here. Thank you, Charles. All right.
And real quick, for anyone that's in the audience, for anyone who's in the audience who's feeling any type of body dysphoria, I suggest getting washable markers and physically writing on yourself all the negative thoughts, and then jumping in the shower and watching the ink wash off your body. It's extremely healing. That's for you, for free.
No charge this time. Next time we're gonna get
exactly. If it works, come back, and then we can set up like a weekly.
Let us know. All right, Black Stax. What you would like to start with and showcasing? We got a few things for you. We don't know where you want to start. You want to start with 99? You want to start with royalty is loyalty? What you like to start with?
Let's do that. Loyalty is royalty.
All right, awesome. Michael.
What's up? All right, here we go.
Yes.
Do you live for? Do you die for? What do you live for? What do you die for? What do you give for? What do you lie for? What do you loyalty? What do you live for? What do you die for? What do you give for? What do you lie for? What do you tie to? Do you see it through? Are you in it to win it? Just a run through. So do you believe or underachieve? Or really a trick under every sleeve? What's your magic? Cause it's gonna get tragic. The shit I'm in. Will still unmask it. From blank canvas to what is managed, to what is free like energy. Just see my pedigree, street degree, you best believe.
Change the scene, but best you can. Not the topics, are you philanthropic, are you sharing profits? Just robotic, a vulture.
Fire sculpture, plastic elements, 99% from the message to what's the lesson. Hip hop's a blessing, there's no question. One more time, a simple line. Follow mine, go line to line. Follow mine, I will mine, I will mine, I will mine.
Go, DJ.
Do you believe loyalty is royalty?
Yes. Loyalty is royalty. Wow.
Yeah.
Every day, every day.
Every day. Aviana, what does that spark for you?
Firstly, I was like, the first note I wrote down was, wow, Felicia is aging backwards. Like, well, hot. Whatever you are using, I need to know. Whatever you're eating, let me share the secret, sis. In addition, I was like, so
screen like this.
I missed that. Say it again. In addition, I was like, wow, this DJ artistry. I feel like at least my generation of DJ don't really work that hard. Like he was moving nozzles with his mouth. It was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I think there's some crackling somewhere. Somebody cracking something.
Too, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can hear it over here.
Wow, where's the cracking?
Yeah,
we
also
cracking. I don't know where that's. It's not like somebody eating popcorn or something.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
that. Maybe it'll stop. Michael, can you pinpoint where that's coming from for us? Okay, so he muted Aviana. Oh, okay. So I think it's coming from Black Stax feed. Michael is texting me right. Michael, you can come on and talk to me because I'm like, Michael is a ghost, and people are like, who's she talking to? Michael B. Main. Behind the scenes, what's going on? What's popping?
Yeah, it looks like it's coming from the Black Stax audio feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll bring them both back, and let's see if it may have magically went away.
Cool.
It's still there.
This is gonna work on something else. Rectify that. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries.
Sorry for the inconvenience. This is gonna try to work on that.
Okay. Awesome. In the meantime, in between time, I just love the question of what do you live for? What do you die for? And
yeah, that felt very unapologetically present and very unapologetically Black, especially in this day and age where we are continuously being murdered. It's like, oh, we really had to figure that answer out because we never know if today is the last day. So we got to get those answers right.
Yeah.
Felicia, in creating Loyalty is Royalty, what sparked it for you?
I can't really pinpoint that because each piece of music may come from a title that an engineer gives us. It may come from an experience that we've had. And just in terms of also, I think that was DJ Sean Malik, and on the drums was Davey C, and the person who put the video together was Barry Johnson. I want to say that was the music Easy Beats. Was that easy? And then the music was Easy Beats. I don't hear the static. Y'all hear the static?
We hear We hear
Felicity Brown of That Brown Girl Cook says she'd like to see your face, Felicia.
yeah, the camera is on the back side of it.
You know what?
If you hit if you clean the back of it, if you clean the back of the phone, that'll clean up your camera.
You know what? I'm
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's not gonna happen. Oh, my phone's ready. It's not gonna happen. So I tried that. That. So, but what I will say is that, so as listening to it again, and asking yourself those questions, what he lived for, what he died for, what he and then what are you? So what I'm going to do is we're going to walk over. I'm going to walk over to another system, see if that works better, and then maybe we can be seen.
Okay, so while you're getting resituated, we're going to move on to Aviona's next piece, and then we'll come back to Black Stax. All right.
Yeah, don't want to forget. I do have a question for them about Jess. Why my dyslexia is coming in hard because I've written his name many times. Jace. Gosh, Jace. Thank you. Forgive me. Has a line something underachieve. So I want to know about that, but help me remember.
All right, will do.
Okay. So one of the things that I spoke on or that I continuously talk about is drug addiction and also queerness. I still consider myself a baby gay because I'm still very, very new to this world. It took me a long time to accept myself as queer. I identify as pansexual, for those of you who don't know what that means. And for my family watching, you should know that just means that I appreciate people for being people. I don't necessarily care what you were assigned at birth, and I don't necessarily care how you present now. I just care that you're human, that you're kind, that you're respectful, all those genuine, honest qualities of human nature that I would like in another human being. I do have a primary partner. Just want to clarify that also. But yeah. And so this stemmed out of when my partner asked me if I would consider going on a date with them. Well, my first question was, how is that different than what we're doing? But I had to be in large reflection because I thought that there were some homophobic members of my family. And I immediately was like, I don't want to be one of those people who are kicked out and unloved. And I would feel broken if the family who has loved me my whole life did no longer. So this is about that. Long story short. And I see there's a comment. Leave a legacy to know I did everything for myself. Oh, it went away. We'll come back, Jade. Here it is. It's called 4. 4 years now. I've been holding this in. 4 years, I've thought of warmths and curves and the moistness of the skin where the thighs collide. 4 years, I haven't wanted a mandatory touch because any other way than rough is not enough. 4 years ago, I tested the waters. I asked each of my family members questions to understand their feelings towards same sex. To my surprise, their minds were extremely unlike mine. I was in shock, scared, cell blocked in my mind with all the regrets for hurting them, for hiding me, for loving another like me, for allowing my heart freedom, for wondering if there would be a way to undo what I wanted to do. If I didn't like it, if it didn't work, if it was just a quirk. Maybe I meant to live an unhappy life, alone with money and plenty to do, no one to share it with, forever like an owl screaming, whoo, whoo. Unsure of what was to come, I took a large leap of faith on God's resurrecting day. I invited her to eat, run, and play. There was plenty of laughter and hugs to be had. No one but me knew my pain or my plan. Later that night, I agreed to go steady, hoping my family would be ready. I was the first Black in a bloodline of border crossers. My mother says that it was not easy. So this is just another hurdle to encounter. Thank you. It was so much turmoil inside, y'all. I was like freaking out for a whole month. For a whole month. I was like, what am I gonna do? And it was true. Like it says, for about 4 years since my last long-term relationship, I had seen girls in the back of the, or wherever I was, like, oh, she's sort of cute. Or, oh, they're looking a little too hard. And not really knowing how to react and and honestly, just ignoring that part of myself. And my mother is supportive now, but even then when I brought it up to her, like, hey, I think I might like girls, she'd be like, no, you just haven't met the right guy yet. And so that just helped to perpetuate this sweep it under the rug feeling, which we as a society of Black and brown people, we do constantly with any of the things we're feeling, with our emotions, with our traumas, with all the questionable things that we could possibly explore. We're just like, you know what, that's a little too far that way. I'm going to just sweep that feeling under the rug and keep it pushing. But why? Why do we do that? Where does that come from? Is that also laid in white supremacy? Is that these are just questions I'm asking? Like this is how my brain works, folks. And so it's just really interesting the things that we do that eventually actually just hurt us in the long run. And even if we are doing it to keep people at bay or to help people feel more comfortable around us, what for? Because like that song we just heard, like, what are you living for if you're always going to be living to please other people? And then when the day comes that you die, what are you dying for? Because you didn't make any of those choices in your whole life for yourself. So the fact that you are now on your deathbed, what was it all for?
Right. Definitely. And the thing is, we do harm by holding stuff in and not allowing people to be who they are or wanting to be something else. And we often put on them what we want them to be versus who they are. And so I just want to thank you for the willingness to share that story, because I don't think I've heard a story like that before of the things that you went through to getting to where you are to be your complete self. And that's so important, especially not just for adults, but for young people too. I mean, for young people, it hits it really early, and hearing you say that then sparks like, okay, she did it, maybe I can do it, or they did it, maybe I can do it. And then for older people, and we can't count out older people too, because older people are also going through those struggles because their family wanted them to be a certain thing, or they feel, or their church wanted them to be a certain thing, or they feel as though the way they was brought up, they're supposed to be a certain way, and they fight every aspect of that. And it's a life of misery, and it's a life of, and we need to be, as a society, able to say it's okay to be who you are. And in a post that you did this week, you are enough. You are enough. Vibing with Vic says that is beautiful. Thank you, Vic. That's awesome. And then, yeah, let's go back to Michael. Michael, let's bring Michael in. Michael B. Main, my person. I know that you always are listening and thinking and vibing. What did Aviana's piece say to you?
Said all the things. Ditto that. Ditto that. Ditto that. No, I wrote down a couple lines that Aviana spoke that really came to me. One of which was hurting them, hiding me, and maybe I'm not meant to. I can't remember if you said live or leave. Maybe I'm not meant to live an. Maybe I am meant to live an unhappy life.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Those two lines really stood out to me, and a lot of what you wrote stood out to me actually. But there's something about, and I feel like I'm at an advantage because I know you a little bit more as a person outside of this situation here. And one of the things that I just absolutely love about you is that you always are genuine in your interactions with yourself and with me, and with the people I've seen you. Like you always bring the beauty out of everybody I've ever seen you interact with, and I think that the realness that you carry out through your poetry and through your work allows that space for people to feel comfortable being who they are. And I think sometimes people, and I've seen people feel more comfortable being themselves around you than sometimes they can be around themselves or by themselves and everything. So I appreciate your precision with language, and it's very apparent to me that your work comes out of a real deep place within you. So I appreciate you. I appreciate listening to you and learning from you, and everything you do is just beautiful. So.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, Michael and I have been growing this relationship for about a year now, right? Last year we out here.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and it's definitely been a chase because we are both the busiest people we know. It's hard to be friends with busy people, overbooked instead of overlooked. And so, but Sharon, what you said about the young people, the day that I publicly came out online and posted a picture with my partner, and then I claimed bisexuality because my family was not ready, but for what I just said a little while ago. But, I had a younger cousin reach out to me via his mom's phone. And he called me. He was like texting me, "Hey, this is your cousin. Can I call you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "Is everything okay?" You know, I thought something was wrong. And he was like, "I just saw your post. You know, I'm this, and I didn't know that anyone else in the family was, and go you, and all these things." And he's like, "You know, I always felt like the weird one, and like no one was ever gonna understand. But I'm so glad to see you in your journey, and you and your girlfriend look so cute, and all these things." And I was just like, thanks. And then I hung up the phone and I cried for like 30 minutes. And I was like, so all this time I was holding all this in when really maybe it wasn't even for me that I needed to come out. It was for whoever else down my bloodline or that I'm connected to, or who's been following me or watching me for years needed to hear it. And that's one of the things that I tell my partner often, because we met at a poetry slam. Shout out Seattle Poetry Slam. Yeah, it's more so whenever I write a piece, it comes from a place of I need pen and paper and I just start to like jot things down, or I feel overwhelmed and I don't necessarily know what to do with it. So I just start writing. I try not to guide it in any way. Sometimes I'll put a timer on, or like I'll pull 4 pieces of paper out and like, this is how much you need to write, to sort of give myself a goal or to push myself as a writer. But at the end of the day, I know, or I remind myself not to judge when it's first coming out, because it may not be for me. This message that I'm writing out here may be from a family member 2 generations ago who is now feeling free enough because I'm free in myself and I know myself that they can speak through me to whoever else needs to hear it. And that's been a lot of shadow work that I've been doing for any of my other witches and brujas out there. It definitely has taken a lot of time to be inclined with my my ancestors in that way, and to open my doors for them to speak through me that way. And later on, you'll see a piece where I speak to the ancestors specifically that Michael will show. But yeah, it's you have to know that it may not be for you. So try not to censor yourself.
Yeah, I totally believe in that because it's amazing too, right? When you write pieces and things, and it may not be the time for it right there when you release it, and then like sometimes for me, a couple years down the road, it'd be like, wow, like oh my, this is the exact audience I had always envisioned for this piece. And that recently happened with me with a piece called The American Dream. And I had written it like 5 years ago. And then I was asked to perform it at Dow Constantine King County executive of King County Dow Constantine fundraising event. So now I'm in a room with all these all these politicians and things, and I'm like, and people that support politics, and I'm able to share the questioning of what is the American dream. And I was like, wow, like how that comes back around. Like it may be pulling to come out of you right now, but you don't know who is supposed to hit or when it's supposed to hit them. And that's important to, and also keeping your work alive, right? Of never putting or saying that a work is complete and putting it on the shelf.
Never.
It lives forever. And
that actually kills the piece.
Exactly. Literally. Definitely. Aviana, we let's watch another Black Stax.
Well,
yeah,
okay. Go ahead. I was going to say we could do that if they're here to talk about it. If not, what you just said will lead me into a piece that Michael has.
Oh, yo, let's do that then. And then
okay.
The Black Stax will come back in, but let's do your next piece.
Michael, it's the first piece. And before you jump into it, I will just say on that same note, we're not letting a piece die. Terrence, I can't remember his last name right now, but he works over at Wibbly, which is Women in Business Leadership. And it's like, you're in a room full of CEOs, business owners, and they're all females or female-bodied people. And at this in particular one, I was the artist in residence or the performing artist. And the woman, the keynote speaker, is the commissioner of public lands here in Washington State.
Okay.
And when I was like, just tell me who's going to be there, and I'll see if I can write a piece to incorporate them. So when I found that out, I was like, ooh, I have a piece. And one of the main lines in it is, we need the trees in order to breathe. And I actually wrote that piece out of it. I was going through notebooks and I found it. I wrote it back in the 7th grade.
Wow.
And I was able to open it up and then take that one line from this piece, because the rest of the piece was like, I was a kid. So I took that one line, put it in a piece, and I expanded on it. And this is what became of it.
Nice. Thank you.
Uh-oh, I can't hear anything.
Couple of things. Michael. Listen up, Earthling.
You start it, Michael.
Start it over. To give you guys context before we start, while that's happening, I got up on the podium. I started saying like a whole speech. Thank you so much for letting me be here. And then the actor took over and I like fainted. And then I came back as a whole character. And the room was not ready. I'll just say that. The room was not ready. I was looking around people's faces. Their jaws were on the floor. Oh,
all right, I'm gonna try this again. Let me know if you can hear it. I think it might have just been low volume.
Be what you need us to be and bring you to light on a couple of things. Listen up, Earthlings. Release your minds to me so I might feast on the thoughts of your memories. The universe is calling you back to which you came. Refrain from any sudden activity in your brain. This ought not be hard, as you've relinquished all power to those whom have taught you how not to be on guard. So listen once and for all. We come in peace, but there is no denying who we might be. We are your liberators, your peacemakers, your everlasting sanity. We release you from all pre-planted seeds of judgment, superiorism, and resentment, and instead plant the seeds of all-knowing love, peace, and acceptance. And furthermore, the understanding that you need the trees in order to breathe. We need the trees in order to breathe. Forget wants, for all that you possess is all you have ever truly needed and nothing more. Change hangs thick in the air. I see it in all of you and feel it within this body you have been privileged to see. Rest easy and at peace, for tomorrow is anew, and today we wash your sins of hatred away. Release your minds to me, so I might feast on the thoughts of what this world might be. We have descended from the sky to bring you to light on a couple of things.
Man, it's so hard to watch yourself. I don't know if you all were watching me, but I was like,
I love watching you watch yourself, and I know exactly how that feels. But your transformation there to the piece and embodying the whole piece was so fabulous, and it had like this musical theater type vibe to it.
that's what my degree's in. I'm glad I paid for that. You know, I'm glad it showed up when it needed to.
Yeah, and then like release your, I mean, like just trying to wrap my head around it, right? Of really releasing everything that you have and be is just so powerful. Sandra Briley says beautiful.
Thank you.
And it was beautiful because there's something special about live performance, right? And there's something special about being able to watch live performance. But in this, I felt as close to you live as I would have, as I felt live as in the video. Like it made me stop, and you drew me all the way in. And it was the messaging, the presentation, it was everything that was really, really lovely. And yeah, what new thing showed up for you for this piece?
Well, when I found out it was published through Googling myself, I wasn't even notified that it was published, and I recorded this about a year-ish ago. So I was looking for something else, but I found it, and I actually was able to watch it with my grandparents, who I've been staying with, taking care of during COVID, during the pandemic. And that portion when I'm like, this body that you've been privileged to see, my grandfather turned to me and goes, "You're so funny." Thanks. Yep. He's like, "Really? You're just so funny." And I was like, but it's the truth.
Right, exactly.
Because around Seattle, at least, my New York friends know this for sure. If you're watching and you and I met each other in New York, you know this for a fact. But my Seattle friends are definitely beginning to feel it with me not being around as much, that I'm very much, they call me the Mirage, because it's, don't give me that look.
No, it's the look of tell me more.
Well, it's because I am somewhere and then I just disappear, and then I just show up somewhere else, and I just sort of like materialize in when you least expect to see me, I'll be there. And then when you expect to see me, I won't be there. And so, yeah. But I love you guys. Those of you that are close to my heart, just know that my spirit and my energy is at all the events, all the beautiful gatherings, all the things, especially right now with the way things are going in this pandemic. I just can't be out there like that.
And you know, that's fair. You know, but you are showing up. You're showing up in different ways. You're showing up through your words. I know your words will show up with me even when this is over. I know your smile just radiates. So you can't forget that smile without saying your name and the smile and all those beautiful teeth. But the importance of loving yourself within your body. How did you, how have you been able to do that? I know that you just started like modeling and pursuing modeling and stuff like that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, shout out to my agent, TCM. If you would like to hire me, email me and I'll just forward you to them or email them and they'll, yeah, all those things. I actually was a child model. I modeled for Bon Marché before it was Macy's, with my natural hair back then. And I wish I had that picture because I would show y'all. I was
probably online somewhere.
I mean, but then through an abusive stepfather and childhood obesity and things like that, I fell off. And I actually was, when did it really happen for me? I would say that my college professor, yes, if you have questions, throw them my way. Let's do this. One of my college professors who boasted about being in Cats, he's very limber, Billy Johnstone. He would always point out, he taught ballet and musical theater dance for us. And he pointed out to me one day, who do you see in the mirror? And it took a long time for me to see the person I am looking at right now. And has a lot of body dysphoria, has a lot of turning away from my Black self and trying to associate with my Latin heritage. It was a lot of things that I had to break down within myself and really come to the core of who I am, how the world sees me, and how I want to be seen by the world, and where I can balance those two. And loving my body in its current form is a daily challenge. I can't say that ever goes away. You know, maybe these jeans that I tried on today fit really nice today. For some reason, tomorrow they won't. And so that's a real struggle that we as human beings always are going to have. But I think reminding yourself that you're enough, that you're beautiful, that you are everything that you could ever dream of being today is the first step.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that word, that wisdom, that knowledge. Look, I love it. What do you have next for us?
Here now?
Yes.
I would like to give you a piece on addiction. And it's more so, I don't know if my sister's watching, but I wrote a few pieces to my sister because when I was heavy into drugs, I sort of fell off for our relationship. She's younger. She's 5 years younger than I. And so this is for her, just a little explanation. And it also talks about my drug addiction. So here we go. Entitled Sister, Coming Home. Coming home was my favorite part of being away. I haven't figured out exactly when that changed. I was living in NYC. Things on my mind were just fine until the drugs kept calling my name. Nothing else mattered. Not you, not me, not them. Damn, I missed every phone call from Monday to Sunday and then back again. I can still remember when it first had started. It was just one white line. It was so crystally and fine. It stung and burned and made my eyes water. Things changed in school too. I was short and refused to follow the rules. I slipped and fell on my face. But before I knew it, lost my place. I slipped and fell on my face. But before I knew it, I was kicked out of my place. Addicted, working, and in school, I turned to a fool. Looking for love in all the wrong places, here was a man credited with my creation, yet he couldn't be bothered to meet me at the station. Later, raped by a boy who had seen me walking home through dark places. Didn't tell anyone, because when he finished, he tapped out a line on his hand and shared it with me, so that made it all right. He knew what was best and what I needed that night. The man called my father. He used me for about a week until he sent me on my way at 5 in the morning on a random day with nowhere to stay. I slept in the lobby of his apartment building, not telling him I was scared of the dark and who might follow me through the park. Tears down my face every day, but I put a smile on for others, bit my tongue and kept up the charade that things were going to be fine. Things are going to be fine. I still never called home to tell them I was alive. It was hard to do drugs, surfing couches, so instead I slept on trains, clutching my baggage close as not to be robbed by a Tom or Harry or bro named Tyrone. I made it to work, community service, school, and even to toke with a few beautiful friends in a Harlem pool. Sheltered from the winter chills and watching a friend's feline on the Upper West Side, I was blessed. And yet, sent another test. The boyfriend at the time decided his needs outgrew mine. Despite my stops and pleas and cries, I guess I'm still not all right. He cuddled me after and petted my hair, and I could feel him go limp as I heard breathing deepen. We woke the next day. I said, I was in a hurry. I got to go catch this train. Kissed goodbye and went our separate ways. It's crazy. He still calls me, singing, baby, 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 baby. I had a point to this story. I don't know where exactly I was going. I think all this is to say that while I was away, I wasn't out forgetting you. I was out losing me and rebuilding who I have now decided to be. I'm strong despite my scars. You may not see them, but there were many times I thought of jumping in front of train cars. I guess that's why I'm obsessed with jumping out of planes, to start again, die, and return, to live a life full of wonder and delight. I know those things don't come without pain, and I hope I've earned it, yet I think there's still more to gain. Losing you, your friendship, your love, and your trust have broken me the most. All I can do is wait. Await a day when you too will be okay, having grown through pains that life will soon throw your way. You're 21 and oh so brilliant. Until you embrace me, I will watch from afar, roaring and cheering as you defeat every adversity you meet. Thank you. I love you, sis, if you're watching.
Whew. Wow.
Yeah, sorry, that's heavy, y'all. Let's everybody just take a breath real quick.
Man.
Maybe one more. Shake it out if you need to.
Man, shake it out.
Cool.
Yeah,
it was a lot, but
that was a lot, but it was necessary. People needed to hear it. You needed to write it. One day your sister will embrace it.
Hopefully.
Or others. So I'm sending that type of energy for you. But the truth behind addiction and the way that you laid it out of crying every day and really battle. It was a constant battle that you knew that you were in, but you didn't know how to get out of. And I thought that was powerful to know, because the thing about addiction is it is a disease, and there's decisions that you have to make personally in order to move through it. And Jade said, so deep, I feel this. You don't even know. Thank you for sharing your truths. 3 years next month, this day for me. Hashtag we do recover.
Yes.
Jade also said, perfect and raw. And Kimberly said, heavy and raw. There's a theme here of the rawness. But
it was very raw. I haven't touched that. Like, I haven't done any editing to it. I just wrote it, and that's where it lives. So that is very raw. That is all the feelings as you felt me feeling them. Trying not to cry.
And then I want to say congratulations to you and Jade and anyone out there recovering and dealing with addiction. I mean, it's one of those things that when you see it live, and it's a part of you. Like for me, I always want to help, right? I always want to make things better. I want that person to be the best selves. And so when you see somebody that you love going through an addiction and there's nothing you can do, it's one of the most horrifying things. Because especially when you're somebody like me, right? And I'm helping people, I'm mentoring people, I'm doing this, I'm acting like I got it all together. But when I can't, and when you can't help family, when you can't help them, it hurts, and you don't know what to do, and you know that they have to make the decision on themselves to change. And so you got me all messed up.
I'm so sorry, honey.
But it's so real. And so I appreciate, like, for those who share stories, the whole reason why I do what I do is that we hear these stories and can become better and closer and understand more of what people are going through. And so, and that's my purpose in life, right? Is to try to change the world one story at a time. And so hearing your plight and hearing hearing not even what the struggles that you went through, but the building of yourself, of the constant work that you're doing to be who you are, obsessed with being able to start over, and also having the opportunity to start over, of saying it's never too late to position yourself and start from a new place, and recognizing and being strong enough to say, I know I caused you pain, but I love you and I will be here. And it reminds me of something that I heard from Melissa Etheridge, because her son died from addiction just recently. And she said, loving someone so hard, that you have to allow them to go through all their steps and their phases. And so I think you capture that beautifully, and just waiting, like loving from afar.
Yeah.
And that's real. Vibing Vic said, deep and to face your truth in this creative power and possesses is a gift to all who are listening.
Speaks the queen of doing it her damn self. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. And then Jade said, get it out, Sharon. We love you. Crying is healing for the soul. We have to remember that. I too forget. Yeah, and let's talk about that for a second.
It's hard to cry.
It's hard to cry, and it's okay to cry.
It is.
Right? It's hard. to let people see your vulnerability. And you have to get that out, because if you don't, it's like, okay, I'm about to say something real nasty. It's like that when you want to pass gas and you don't want to do it in front of everybody, and you holding it and it's entangling everything in your body, and it can you gotta let that out. You got to let it out. So you gotta let it out in order to be free from it, and in order to deal with it. So whether you have to go in a closet by yourself, or I do a lot of crying in the shower. I've cried in the boardroom. I've cried right here on virtual television, or whatever we want to call it, on the web. I mean, I need tissue cry. You know what I'm saying? But
I'd offer you, but
and I know it's way over there, and I'm not gonna get up and go get it. So I'm just gonna keep doing. But I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that, and love to everyone out there. So Jay, Jade, Jesus, Michael. I love you, Jade, and we're gonna have you on the show, Jade. But you in my head right now. I just feel like loving on you right now. But Aviona, is there a piece that you want to share? One of your last pieces with us?
The piece that Mike, in addition to Michael, the one that Michael still has, or one that Michael has?
Whichever one. I mean, this is your show. Whatever you want. Vibing with Vic says, I'm dying, because as crazy as that metaphor was, I'm right. I know. It is. It's that. I mean, and you could do 2 more, 3 more. I'm here for you. What you want the people to hear? Okay,
I'm just checking. I feeding into the one that Michael currently has on the back burner. I'll do this one. Okay. And I think the years might be a little off. I think we have to add 1 more year or 2 more years. I don't remember when I wrote this.
Okay.
But it's about the abolishment of slavery.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Let me sit back for this.
Me too. You see me? I'm like, ooh.
Woo, I'm gonna sit back. Let's go.
All right. Juneteenth. 154 years ago, someone I never knew, have never seen, maybe didn't even have a name, picked their last piece of cotton and became a freed person of the United States of America. Little did they know how free we would truly be. Did they know this far down the line we would still be castrated, manipulated, and forced to humiliate ourselves to be recognized as human beings? Did they claim freedom as a gleeful thing? Were they expecting this country to free us and become okay to walk the streets with had-been slaves? To eat at counters with dogs and act like it all had changed? Overnight, out of sight, with a piece of paper, change things overnight? I'd like to know what exactly happened 154 years ago when my men and women became free. Did they go to their houses, pack up their sacks, head north towards a star that so many had fled to see? Toward a dream that was still many years to come? Toward a hope that was the end of a hurtful drum? A hope to never feel the pains of slavery, the real torment of humanity? To end this feeling of worthlessness and free the guilt to exist? A hope to never see another brother or sister killed in front of the community as an example of our treacherous existence? What was their first move? How did they take ownership of their new lives? Unfortunately, our people, yes, all of our people, they are American people. They did not leave, did not start anew. They understood they were free to choose, and choose they did. They went home to their huts and their holes, to their dirt floors and rags to sleep and wake, to the only job that welcomed them, to outpour their strengths, blood, and tears to the very crop that broke them of their fears. For the Constitution freed them, but the country held them close-knit and helped them choose the whip. They knew nothing else, nor would anyone for miles and miles give them chances, because to the American people, they were only slave hands. And feel free to stop listening, but darling, it's the truth. They never really freed us. Just ask our brothers and sisters killed in the streets as proof. Now, I can't name them all, for the list goes on and keeps growing daily. Just check the posting on your Facebook wall. 154 years ago, someone I never knew, don't have a picture of, and may not have had a name, picked their last piece of cotton as a slave, but came back tomorrow just to pick it yet again. Little did they know how free we would truly be, battling the same struggles under the name of poverty. So listen up, Blacks of all ages. Don't keep your head down. And definitely do not blend into that crowd. They want us in line to keep quiet and take heed. But just remember, they're still killing us in these streets. For those of you that don't believe me, I have this really lovely shirt that has a multitude of names.
Mm. 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 Mm.
And I'm so sad that I have to keep writing names on this shirt.
I want to bring Michael in. Michael, you're currently working on a project that also tells some slave narratives. Can you talk about the intertwining between Aviona's piece and the book that you're basing your project off of?
Yeah. First of all, Aviona, that was I. Man, props.
Thank you.
You do such beautiful work. Thank you for doing that, and thank you. I don't like to speak for other people, and I won't. What I will say is thank you for remembering. Thank you for remembering the memories that in the events and the people who exist currently, people who still exist but are no longer alive, either in our lifetimes and before. And I think that the work that you're doing, especially with this piece, is one that it goes beyond honoring. Like there's honoring people, and then there's the celebration of these people. And I think that when I hear you read this piece and I see the emotion and I hear and feel the emotion that comes through this, I think about like all the people that came before and all the people that will come after, and it makes me feel more connected to each and every one of them, and I appreciate you doing that. And I feel like it's also often our histories, there's an intention to erase our histories.
Mm.
And by doing what you're doing, you refuse to let that happen. And I applaud you for that. And I appreciate you for that. And you do it in such a beautiful way that I think it allows and encourages people to come into the conversation rather than to push them away. So just thank you. Sharon, the also, I love you. I love both of y'all.
Love you, Michael.
Thank you. The piece I'm working on right now is called To Be a Slave, and the project is named after a book called To Be a Slave, and the person who put that together is named Julius Lester. And I think it was in the 1930s there was a project to interview people that were formerly enslaved after emancipation, and those interviews were transcribed word for word, including all of the dialect, the slang, all the verbiage, word for word, and those were then housed in the Library of Congress. And Julius Lester in the 1960s learned about these, and then actually went to the Library of Congress to read all of those interviews, and then took some of those interviews and put them in the form of a book, word for word, exactly as they were written, and then provided context along with that. And growing up, I remember, and I grew up in Texas, and I grew up very much with Texas history being a thing that was taught to me, and feeling very fortunate that I happened to have two parents in the house that were always saying, like, they're not going to teach you everything in school. You have to learn how to do your own research and read and listen and pay attention. And I remember trying to ask my grandparents, my grandparents and great aunts and uncles and things about what they experienced, because they were one generation removed from slavery, and they would never share anything because it was just too painful. And they would say, "I'm not trying to relive that. It was too painful." And so most of what I learned about slavery came from secondhand accounts, movies, and books, and all of them, for the most part, were portrayed people that were enslaved as a monolithic experience, just all whatever, just all the stories. So I won't go into all that, but when I read this was the first time I actually was able to hear the stories and read the stories of people that experienced it, and it changed my relationship with slavery, because I was able to really feel the pride in the people that came before me. And for me to exist, that means everybody in my bloodline, they existed, like all of them, and they made it through whatever they made it through. And for us to be here, we're some whatever circumstances happen, they happen, and we're here. And it really made me start to think about how I could celebrate these people and family and ancestors and people I don't know, people I do know, people that aren't related to me, and everything. And so this project that Sharon's talking about is one in which I ask people in the community to read these stories and then record them reading it, so we can see the reactions and everything. But more importantly, to keep these stories alive, because all too often, even as artists, a lot of times we tend to try to tell people's stories and don't always create the opportunities for people to tell their own stories. And I think it's important to preserve these stories as they were written and spoken from the people who experienced them. And I will stop talking now, because this is not the Michael Main show. This is the Aviona show today. And Aviona next Stax. So
but the beauty of it is that, so I read one of the pieces, one of the excerpts, one of the chapters from Michael's project, and so it instantly, when you said what your piece was about, Aviona, it instantly put me in that mindset of, like, I wanted to jump up and go run and get the book and bring it back and be like, like, you and Michael are doing and so and for me, it was the lovely way in which you told the story, and pulling back, and how it has to bridge us together from the past to the present, and like there's a direct link. And so when Michael had me read this chapter, and I hadn't read the book before, and he's just like, read it, and I'm like, okay, read it.
And he was saying,
and it's like, he said it nicer than that, but you talk about being put into a world, and just like your poetry, the painted pictures from the words, and then you're sitting there like, and that's how I was during your piece. It's like, hearing more and more or learning more and more and pulling back. And, we always talk about you have to know your past, to know your present, to know where you're going in the future and appreciate all of that. And just seeing like people like you and Michael that are bringing those things together. And also like recently watching the John Lewis documentary and really seeing right the civil rights movement and people trying to vote and what they were going through, and seeing him continue that fight today, and just like seamless line. And that's how we have to look at our lives, as a seamless thread that's going through everything. So in the arts, they always talk about what is the thread in your story, and it's seamless. It's and you're helping to keep that alive and let people know. And I appreciate that in you and value that.
Thank you. I think one of the important things that we as a generation need to focus on is that though the institution of slavery physically ended, the outright slavery ended, it has trickled and it has put on a different mask every decade. So we now have to literally pull back each layer to find out where in our lives does slavery hide itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we've been so brainwashed to accept this as a reality, when at the end of the day, there is no reality. We are universal. We are magnificent beings who can do so much more than we are allowing ourselves to do. I'll just put it like that. Your brain can do so much more than you believe it to do. And until you believe that, I can't help you believe it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Back to what I was saying. That we ourselves need to understand how we are being held in our place. Where are the bowling bumpers, for analogy purposes?
Mm-hmm.
Where have they been put in? And we can't even see them because our ball keeps hitting the strike.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're turkeying all day, you're like, hey, I just got it. Now slice of pizza.
Right.
You didn't know that you had bumpers on, sweetie. So you didn't do anything. And everyone's on the sideline laughing at you.
Exactly.
That is Black people in America today. And not even just Black people. Because my PSA for you today, if you get nothing else from this whole thing, this is the moment right here. This is the PSA right here.
Lean in. Lean in.
Anyone who is not white is Black. Why? Because white people don't see you as white. Therefore, you are closer to Black than you will ever be to white. Doesn't matter how passing you are. At the end of the day, if somebody has to be pushed off the ship, it's going to be you, honey. That's my PSA for today. Yeah.
And that's a whole show. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. What do we say in the church? That's a revival. That's a week-long revival in the church. You know what I'm saying?
Next Thursday.
That's a revival. So Aviana, you had one more piece that linked to that piece that you want to play.
The man will do it.
There it is. Michael.
Until the end of time, I am free. I'm not your idea of me. I'm an Afro-Latinx curvaceous lady. I ride the waves to my own personal sea. I want the best for my people. And if you don't, then watch out. I will stomp you, romp you, and throw you to the wolves. I am strong and loud and run around town planting seeds in the crowns of the oppressed to stand and relent. Togetherness is the thing that we need in order to succeed in taking over this pathetic excuse for a country that is ripping us to shreds.
Say it.
Oh.
Oh, Michael, you paused us.
No, I didn't. We just have 40 seconds of it. I will. You know what?
Let me see if I can pull up the document.
Really? You gonna give us a teaser?
Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves. I'll fix it over on this end.
Okay. If you can't find it, just let me know, and I'm looking for it on my end too.
Do what you gotta do. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you giving us a teaser. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat taking notes. Like, wait a minute. Stomp you and romp you. I mean, why are you so violent though? What?
Okay, so I have to let you know, I'm definitely a country girl. So on my Latin side, I grew up in Eastern Washington, where I've been spending time during the pandemic.
Mhm.
And like, I was hunting at the age of 3. I helped my grandfather fix my first car at 5. Like, I've been riding horses. I got a horse for my 5th birthday. So it's just like, I am so rough, but I just get to dress up and look nice. You know, like, I just know, thanks to my mother and the way that she molded us through the world. For example, she put us in different boys and girls clubs throughout the greater Seattle area every summer. So like, I spent time on Mercer Island with the rich white kids. I spent time in the CD at Rotary every day after school. I spent time at North Seattle Boys and Girls Club, Ballard, Bainbridge, Rainier Beach. You know what I mean? So like, my siblings and I were all influenced by every portion of culture. We saw the haves and the have-nots. We saw like what influence really means and what it looks like on a daily basis. And so that helped to mold me into what I call the chameleon that I am today, where I just know how to fit into places appropriately based on what the situation is. I know how to read a room. Yeah, I think that's. But at the end of the day, roughness is like the core.
Yeah, you know, I am as rough as they come. I think I have this dream of stomping people with my Timberlands. I was, as a kid, I was wrestling for in my neighborhood with the cardboard belt. So I didn't get to ride a horse. That's one of my bucket list items. I really do want to do that. And I am I just was home in North Carolina looking at the cornfields, things of that nature. And I just felt like, I saw this guy had a pig farm. I was like, he got pigs. And so I love the country life. But I feel like
we as a society are a little, well, nowadays we call it trauma porn. Yeah, Rotary. I'm actually like down the street right now. Shout out. I'm actually at Wanari. If you don't know it, it's a Black-owned Central District home turned into a museum. Right now they have a beautiful museum about hair. So why don't you just come get your life? They're open Thursdays and Fridays for a very short amount of time. So look at their website. Anyways, back to, so like all this Black Afrocentric art I'm surrounded by. I'm very blessed right now and feel very charged. But I'm looking at your art too. Like, dang, that's beautiful.
Hey, thank you.
But I feel like we as a society are very attracted to what we refer to as trauma porn or violence. Like, that is normalized as much as sex has been normalized for us. And that's just really interesting. So I find that if somebody hasn't been listening to my poem, the thing that they will remember is the violence.
Yeah. So
I got to just make sure whatever that line is or whenever that comes in, that it's also tied to a specific idea.
Yes, I agree, because sometimes we get stuck on one thing. You'd be like, but you didn't listen to the rest of it. You didn't see how that tied back and forth. You got stuck. I need you to listen to it. That's why it's always good to listen to things over and over again, because you never know what you missed the first time. And I know, like, for me musically, sometimes I get stuck, right? I'm like, oh, no. I got to hear that one more time. And I'll be listening to the same song like 10, 20 times because I'm like, I'm getting something every time I listen to it. I'm a little slow. I know, it's all good. But one thing that you talked about too that I think is important is allow people going into different communities and having that experience. I had that experience when moving out here to Seattle. Like, I had never been to the West Coast when me and my roommate moved out here, and culture shock and adjusting and seeing how people are, I think has really made me more of a person that's open to people being different and things of that nature, and being free to be different. And so, but also, like, I remember when my brother and my nephew came and lived with me for a little while, and they're in North Carolina, and they came out to Seattle. And I remember the first day of school for my nephew, like that weekend before, I was like, okay, let me tell you this. You're about to walk into a classroom where everyone isn't going to look like you. Like, I was like, you in Seattle now, so you're going to walk in and you're going to see all different kind of ethnicities, all different kind of cultural things, and I had to warn him. I felt as though I needed to prep him for that first day of school. And when he came home, he was like, he had all kind of questions. And I was like, cool, because I felt good that I told him that. And what triggered that was actually, I took him to one of my favorite breakfast spots, and he looked around and he was like, Auntie, we're the only Black people in here. And I was like, okay, welcome to Seattle. Now, what you gonna see? And he's coming from Charlotte, and it was like, and so when he came home, because we had that conversation, he was willing to have that conversation again. Like, okay, this is what I saw. What does this mean? What does that mean? I saw this, and this, and it was like, whew. And then now I just hope that, like, all my family can come out to Seattle just to see something different. So I always encourage people to go and visit different places and communities, things of that nature, because we're not all the same and we all have different experiences. So I thank you for that. And he even played ball for Rotary when he was here. You know what I'm saying? Wow. But, yes. Michael, are you ready with that video for us?
Nope.
Almost.
It's interesting that you say that, because when I went to college in New York. I was living in Manhattan the first year. Second year, still in Manhattan, became homeless. You heard that story. And then I was sort of bouncing around. I eventually found an apartment in the Washington Heights area. Anyone who is or has seen In the Heights, that area. And I fell in love. Obviously, those were my people. But then everywhere I turned, how do you know Spanish? You're not Mexican. And that's like, that's a continuous thing. So for all my Latin friends and family, Hispanic family out there, please just know we come in all colors. And if you were actually from anywhere outside of this rock, you would see us in so many other colors. But this rock has you thinking that you all look the same. Anyways, and I lived in Brooklyn for 2 years. If you've ever been to Brooklyn before 2010, you would know that it is full on Black, like unapologetically Black. You got Black preachers on the corner. You got I can't even think Black Israelites on the next corner. Everyone is pushing their version of religion. You've got so many hair spots you can't even, like, you would lose money in one, but you can't even make it to the 10th one that you would encounter because you already bought all the hair you could possibly need for 10 years. You know, you got the Juve Festival where they celebrate all the West African nations that are represented in Brooklyn. They have a parade on Labor Day weekend and everyone's out. Like, they're cutting open coconuts with machetes and you're drinking a full-on coconut on the Brooklyn street, like at the Brooklyn Library. You know what I mean? So it's so different. And I would have never had that experience had I not stayed in New York and explored. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm for that. Go somewhere else. Go see how other people live. Go see what's happening out in the world. Go see how people who look like you are experiencing life in Europe, in Australia, in Africa, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Louisiana, in Missouri, in Ohio. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many other experiences besides what we have on a daily. And even for the people who come here, yes, we are here, which I'm glad that Michael has that festival. We Out Here. You can just Google it. It's outside. It's out on the web now. 2020 was virtual, but we are here. And it's funny to be in the Central District where I don't see as much of a community. I mean, we are here and there are many of us. Liberty Bank building is full of us, but it's also so sad. I was walking in the neighborhood and I'm like, that was owned by a Black person. 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 And now that is no longer the case. Mm-hmm. And gentrification is a real problem in regards to representation and equity and life and love and community.
And making it through the change, making it through, for those of us who remember those days, right? Not for me, not necessarily in the CD. I remember some of it in the CD. I don't know how. I moved to Seattle 20 years ago, and it's just like, just being able, I felt comfortable in the CD right off top. Right? Like, my first hairdresser was right off top, and everything was so amazing. And so and I still feel at home in the Central District. I feel home at Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute, at Wanawari, at any place I go. That's my comfort zone. I had to learn how to be. I actually live out here in Kent. I had to learn how to be in Kent during the pandemic because I was always in the Central District. And so, and I felt detached from that. But also, in going back to North Carolina, I say there's something about going from one place to the next. And that is in North Carolina and places where you have more Black population, right? Your community you're born into it. You get off the plane, you walk right back into it, right? And then when you come to Seattle, a place like Seattle, you create it.
Yes.
You create it. So when people tell me that they don't see Black people in Seattle, you haven't created it. You haven't reached out to it. You haven't searched for it. It's not just going to happen for you. You got to look for it. It shouldn't be that way. You should know when you get off the plane, you can go to the Central District and you got Wanawari, Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute, Langston, Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas, the Hansberry Project, Northwest Tap Connection. I mean, you have all these Black organizations and businesses, but it's just that. I want to give a shout out to Stipe-olicious, and because this is our first broadcast on Twitch, and Stipe is our first comment from Twitch, so I'm giving him a shout out. Thank you. We doing big things. But Michael, are we ready?
Yup.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. There we go.
By the way, if you do look up We Out Here, this was from.
Okay. That's what's up.
I am free. I'm not your idea of me. I'm an Afro-Latinx curvaceous lady. I ride the waves to my own personal sea. I want the best for my people. And if you don't, then watch out. I will stomp you, romp you, and throw you to the wolves. I am strong and loud and run around town planting seeds in the crowns of the oppressed to stand and relent. Togetherness is the thing that we need in order to succeed in taking over this pathetic excuse for a country that is ripping us to shreds. I don't have time for your sorries and your campies and pass the potato scampi, because I am on another level of what ifs and maybes. Maybe we'll learn to fly so high we can never touch the ground. Maybe we will gain a tribe of like-minded folks who are on our side. Maybe, just maybe, we will make this country great for the very first time without the incessant thoughts of the pale-faced wannabes whom walk the walk of their lives full of privilege and no regard for the stress of living in a white supremacist society. May we be great and uplift one another for our beauty and our flaws and our trip-ups. And I want you to see my color and acknowledge it for what it is, greatness. As if I were your sister, I'll catch you when you fall. We can work together to make it all better because together is the finest thing since fermented grapes became wine. And I can't be more honest than I've already been, yet there's still people who ain't acting right. So I'll say it again and again and again. Black lives matter. Our lives matter.
Yes.
Our life matters. Communal breath. Sit here and breathe with me. Share your brave waves with me. Let's hum a tune. You can do this at home. And maybe it'll become a tune, a song, because that's what life is. It's ups, it's downs, it's full of runarounds, but together, we can make things that are great. So let's not rewrite the past, but acknowledge it. And let's not forget how many times someone has used black asses or cut their insecurities into black and brown skin. But can we maybe leave this place as friends? Can we be like the trees and dance in the wind? Thank you. Ashe. Stay safe.
Ashe.
Yeah, usually I'll have the crowd keep going and then I might little freestyle on it. Keep going, keep going. I walk in the light on my forehead. I see for the very first time the me I wish to be. Emerged out of darkness. I fly with the birds and the breeze to a place bright and beautiful as the sea.
Fire! Oh, shaking shit up. That's how we get down, folks. There's no words. Aviona left it on the table. I appreciate you, my queen.
And you.
Please do not stop telling your stories. You are giving to this world more than what we deserve, and we appreciate all of you. All of you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The world is applauding
Thank you all for your lovely comments. I'm reading them.
Thank you. Tell us what you got coming up. How do people learn more about Aviana?
So actually tomorrow, Friday, the 28th, I believe, there is a beautiful celebration happening at the Martin Luther King Memorial Park right here off of MLK Way. And it is the Black Joy Festival and Community Rally.
Hold on 1 second. Michael, you got that for us? Thank you. There's a poster. I just want to make sure that we get to see the beautifulness of the images.
You know, I'm drinking water, but I feel tipsy. It's like the energy.
Right. That's what we do here. Sandra Briley said, "Thank you so much for sharing yourself and your story. So beautiful."
Thank you, Sandra.
Awesome.
So yes, all people, all shapes, all colors, all sizes will be performing from, there's even a lineup. We've got speakers, we've got poets like myself, we've got dance and music performers. Lots of people are going to be out there. Starts at 3 o'clock, ends around 9. I personally will be performing live at the 6:40 range of time, if it runs on time. If not, we'll just be out there. But I think there'll be some vendors. I think there'll be some donations being collected. This group of people are paying us artists out of the collections. So you can even Google it. I Googled it today, and you can find their fundraiser online. So just look up Black Joy Festival and Community Rally. Some beautiful young Black queens are putting this on, and I am blessed to have been asked to perform. I will say that it took some encouragement because I haven't been out in public spaces like this. And I know a lot of the rallies and protests have been very important works, and I've been supporting them from afar in many different ways. But this one felt right because during all this attack that we are receiving right now, it is very important for us as a community to sustain. And in order for us to do that, we need to remind ourselves of our joy in all forms. So really excited about tomorrow. In addition, I am partnering up with Earth Pearl Collective as their program manager. And we right now would normally be getting ready to do our theater festival. But we are actually going to be converting it into a film festival. What does this mean for you? Well, if you already have a film, great. Please submit. My email is just programs@earthpearlcollective.com. And this is a Black, female, queer-owned and run theater production company who is partnering up with Hansberry Project, also Black, queer-owned, and the Northwest Film Forum. And we're going to take those films and we're going to put them out into the world. And this is going to be global. We have not been global before. We are definitely national theater group because our founder is from Detroit. Excuse me, Sadiqua, if that's wrong. You know where Sadiqua's from? Is it Detroit? She's from the East Coast. I know that for sure.
Either Detroit or Chicago. I don't know.
I can't recall right now. And then her wife is also from the East Coast. Aisha, who is the beautiful model in this picture, is her family is from West Africa. And so there's just a lot of beautiful entity and body and belief and work in this group of people. So, and this community and this theater production company. So definitely submit anything you already have. Also, we are calling out for poets like myself, musical artists, Black queer artists in general. If you have something that you would like to be seen, to share, please also email me because that is something that we can share. We can give to our community. We can feed into one another because guess what? Stop. They're not going to do it for us. No one outside our community is going to do it for us. So it's really up to us to promote ourselves, to share our own work, to share within our community. And that's what we are trying to do over at Earth Pearl Collective.
Cool.
Other than that, just check out my website. Thank you, Michael, or my IG account, which are now flashing to you on the screen. I am hireable.
Definitely. Let's definitely hire Aviana. And Aviana, you have a book coming out? You're working on a book?
I sure do. Another shout out to the Rockland residency over on Bremerton, where I was ironically born. And I am going on a writing residency for the month of October. No technology, which is super exciting and also sort of scary. Just going to say that. It's going to be great, but, you know, we are now attached, very much so. But yes, the book is, right now it's a working title, but I already paid to copyright it, so don't go stealing it now. I will sue you. But it's called The Turtle Point: Everyday Stress Through the Eyes of an Addict and Using Art to Deal with It. And basically, I just go through, it's a memoir base, which is based off of a lot of the journals that I was writing as I was homeless, after my father died, just over time in general. I have stacks of these journals that I've been working through, and using memoir as well as my own drug experience, and talking about each stress in relation to what drug I would normally attach to that stress, like how to relieve that stress is what I would normally do if I were still using drugs. But instead, I talk about the different art forms that can be used to achieve that same type of release or adrenaline or whatever the case you're going to be looking for if you were to use that drug.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time. And I know that you have to go and relive all of stuff and bringing it back, and that can't be easy, and it's not easy. So I really appreciate what you're putting into it and what you're sacrificing to make that through. So if you need anything while you're going through this process, hit a sister up, hit Michael up. I know we're all there for you during this process. So
absolutely. I think it just goes back to what I was saying earlier about coming out. There's a lot of cousins my age and older, and probably younger, to be honest, who are caught up in drugs. Drugs have anchored in them, and we have lost them, or a piece of them, right? And like you were saying, there's so many of us family members who are looking at the situation and wishing we could help, and trying to understand, but people who have never experienced addiction really can't. And that's not, I don't want to diminish anyone who thinks that they can, but similar to a white person trying to experience my Black experience, that's just unimaginable to the extent of feeling it completely, which is the same in accordance to addiction. You can talk about it. I can tell you the science behind it. I can even describe the excruciating pain when I don't get it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that I can compare it to. Maybe childbirth. But I've not experienced that, so I don't know, you know? So like, I don't know what kind of pain I can explain. I can use to talk to a non-drug using family member to explain what addiction feels like. And so this book is in hopes to reach not only addicts, but also those who are trying to help them to understand what's going on.
Yeah. And that's about all you can do.
Yeah.
Is have more of an understanding of it so that you could be a little bit more empathetic to it, and embracing, because what we do is we love that family member no matter what, but we really don't know what they're going through. Like you said, we really don't know. And so I really do appreciate that. And I look forward to having you back on Shakin Shit Up or a Central District Forum program, Intimate Conversations, to talk more about the book. I also want to acknowledge that this month is Black August and
Black August.
Okay. And so Black August. Have you heard of Black August? Black August was started in the California penal system, and it was around honoring Black revolutionaries. And so the month of August is a time where we encourage to learn learn more about revolutionaries, learn more about Black heritage, and study and really equip yourself with that knowledge. Also, people celebrate through fasting, sun up to sundown. People also celebrate it by supporting Black businesses and learning more about Black businesses and organizations. So I want to encourage people to take the rest of your life. Don't just do it in August. Do it all the time.
The rest of your life.
Rest of your life. Continue education, but be very purposeful in the month of August. And so really take the time that, and I said that because the Central District Forum is a part of something that's happening tomorrow called 828 Give 828 Black, Young, and Giving. And just support. Go and see. You can go to cdforum.org to find out more information about that. But we wanted to bring light to different organizations, and we're also funding our youth curator program. So check that out. Also, the March on Washington is tomorrow. And so it's a recommitment to the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. So please be aware that is happening and do your research. And most importantly, vote. Vote. I don't care who you vote for. Okay, I do care who you vote for. I don't even lie. I care who you vote for, but I'm telling you to vote, get registered, ask for your ballot. Don't give them any excuses not to count your vote.
Send it in early.
Yes, just do it.
You don't even need them.
Don't procrastinate. Get the ballots out. But I want to say thank you to Black Stax for wanting to be on the show fully, but unable to do so because of technical difficulties. I really do appreciate you. Please check out Black Stax on Instagram at Black Stax, Facebook, and check out their videos on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, type in Black Stax, different things will come up. And yeah, so special thank you to
hear whatever. Can we, Michael, what you got up there?
We already planned it. You ain't said nothing.
Cool. I'm like
going out on Black Stax.
I need that in my life.
And thanks, Sandra, for reminding us. Yes, do your census. I've already done mine. I was home a couple weeks yesterday in North Carolina. I did my mom's and my grandmother's. So do your census. We need to be counted. Yes, we are going out on Black Stax. Please check out Black Stax on YouTube and in your community. They're dope. And they're on
everything too.
Yeah.
Spotify, YouTube,
Instagram, all that. YouTube. Wherever you can hear music, they are probably there.
They're so good.
So stay Staxing. But Aviana, thank you so much. The next Shakin Shit Up, go to my follow me on Instagram or Facebook or my website. And thank you, Michael, for putting that up there, and learn when the next Shakin Shit Up will be. So thank you, Michael, for being on the ones and twos behind the scenes. And you can also follow Michael at Michael B. Main everywhere, and michaelbmain.com. So
for
the rest of your life. Special shout out to my pops in North Carolina. He's watching.
Shout out to my mama too. She's watching.
She is. And to my sister Elia, my niece Elia, my cousin Kim, my cousin Gee. I know y'all out there. I don't know if Caress and Shamika watching, or Bobby, or all y'all. But family love. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And take us out, Michael. Remember to shake shit up.
Shake it up. Like shake it.
Like shake it.
99. 99 things to approach and come at. 99 reasons to stay in vocal combat. 99, 99%, 99% of those who know what's going on. 99% of those who know what's going on. I got 99 things to bring out. She got 99 things to sing out. We got 99 facts that break down. 99, 99, 99, 99. Where's your loyalty amongst royalty and community? Stay invested. Think you just divested. It's like a part 5, but it's do or die. 99, 99, 99, 99. We got 99 reasons we ballin', 99 reasons we fallin', 99 words we stallin', 99 cats and we all in. 99, 99%, 99% of those who know what's going on. 99% of those who know what's going on.
Wrote this down cause my computer tried to stop me. The genocide continues. Why do we as people of color believe we only come together for barbecues, funerals, and churches? We fellowship while drinking wine and swallow chips for communion. When we step onto the stage, we got to be like George Clinton. Step into the other side of funk and ride the mothership and get the funk out of here.
99% of those who know what's going on. 99% of those who know what's going on. Black voice been excited, conspiring, messaging the music, reflective like acoustics, heartbeats of the drums. Yeah, the blood's filled with rum, and thoughts infested like slums. Never run or ran, banned like rubber. Silence turns to mothers, but spoke high intensity like coke. Lyrics invoke new provisions, sunken visions, mission to reach out and force. Finish like Peruvian doors, yeah, chord to stretch, and adore the flex, and record the stress. Have minuscule tools to do, need fuel for the heat, and real talk for the streets. 99% of those who know what's going on. 99% of those who know what's going on.
This atmosphere is only part of our makeup, and the part that the media shows ain't hardly part of our makeup. So we sit and learn zero proof of our makeup. Nobody made us, now by those who control the masses of the minds with one line. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. ... That's not true. You ain't wrote nothing new. That's not true. You ain't spoke nothing new. The only news about you is you choose to tell all these stories you make up.
99% of those who know what's going on. 99% of those who know what's going on.
Was that you?
Yes. That strong heart. It's gone. No doubt. Music. That black Stax everywhere. Stay Stax and take it shit up. Thank you, Michael B. Main. Thank you, Aviana. Thank you, Black Stax. Thank you, audience, for being with us. We'll do it again soon. Deuces.